What is up, God Gamers? Today, I have an off-meta strategy for you guys, and this is Ionia Jhin reroll. But remember, guys, again, this is off-meta. It's not guaranteed to gain you some LP, but I think the build is really fun and worth learning, because at some point, it will be meta. What I can promise with this comp is, as long as you're not giga low-rolling, you're pretty much guaranteed to not go 8th. I forced this comp about 15 games on my alt account and was slowly climbing. Actually, you're guaranteed to not go 8th, but you're not gonna go 1st either. your average placement is around from like 5th to 2nd, but it's a really fun build. You get to turn your brain off, have a good time. Anyways, I just wanted to share this build with you guys because it definitely will be meta at some point, and I will update this guide whenever this comp is meta. But if you want to try an off-meta strategy that I found to be pretty fun and pretty satisfying to reroll, then here it is. It's Ionia Jhin reroll. And if you guys have played past sets, if you guys played set 6, this is the new Pogma comp. This is the comp that is so similar to that Pogma comp from set 6, which is my all-time favorite reroll build, and that's why I stumbled upon this when I was looking for some tech, and I will continue to look for some tech, so keep an eye out on the YouTubes. So yeah, very similar to that build. This strategy, you are going to take Vlad, and you literally just take all of his augments. You just turn your brain off, play Vlad, because the win condition of this composition is Jhin, Irelia, Set, 3-star, all 3 of them. Sometimes you won't hit one of them, and that's okay. We'll talk a little bit about what to do if you don't hit. How you win fights, how you actually win fights, is you just stall to overtime, and Jhin one-shots with his Deadeye procs. Now, Jhin can do some annoying things in overtime, where he like lines up his shot. I'm gonna hit my shot, and that's not fun. But Jin's Deadeye procs literally one-shot. Once you hit overtime, as long as you have an Infinity Edge and he is 3-starred, and you can buy enough time for him to get to that overtime. So this is an overtime build, just like the Pogma build in the past. Okay, yeah, so we're going to take Vlad, and we're going to take all of his legends, because all of his legends are conducive to that. You know, we get Transfusion, we get the extra health, we get the damage resistance from Battle Ready, and then we get Ascension. So you literally turn your brain off and just take those. The only other augment I ever consider taking is I'll take the Ionia one. There's an Ionia one where it grants you 3 Ionians, and that can get you really close to hitting your 3. Like if you need that to hit your 3 stars, or you need that to just get your opener or whatever, that can be fine. I've done it, but I really, if you can take Vlad's augments, you just want to take Vlad's augments. So just play Vlad. Okay, so the econ, this is what the level 5 board looks like, and I'll get into the Urgot and all that stuff, because I bet that's probably sticking out like a little sore thumb right now. But as you can see, it's perfect synergies when we have Urgot, and Urgot is conducive to our goals of buying time. He is a tank Deadeye, which is very unique for a Deadeye. The econ, how do you econ this early game? Because econing on 1-cost rerolls is so important if you guys haven't played it. I haven't played a lot of 1-cost rerolls. So if you hit Jhin and Irelia 2-star, like if you just come out of the gate as your opener, you can totally tempo this comp, meaning you play your strongest board, but do not push your levels. It's fine if you go win-loss in this comp if you have the Jhin Irelia 2, because you will save a lot of HP, and you're actually pretty decently strong on Jhin Irelia 2-star. They're just really good on stage 2 and stage 3. So you can totally play strongest board if you hit that. But if not, the most consistent way to hit this board every game and the most consistent way to play this board is to just 5-loss. So you just intentionally lose, open fort, only by the Ionians. That is going to be the most consistent way to play this, because also every time you lose a round, you get that transfusion buff, man. And if you're pretty low health going into stage 4, that actually makes your stage 4 pretty strong when the build is kind of peaking. So I think the best strategy is the full loss, but I have tempoed with a 2-star Jhin, 2-star Irelia, and that has been effective for me as well. So either or, but just remember, you want to go 5-loss if you do not hit Jhin and Irelia 2. That is going to be your best way to do that, and that you just want to have as much gold as possible to roll on stage 3. So items, we are going to prioritize tank items. Again, this is a stall comp, and Jhin does not need a lot to get going. All he needs is an Infinity Edge and a healing item, +1. That's all that he needs. The reason why we want a healing item is because we want to make sure he makes it to the overtime. And with things like Zeri in the meta, Zeri has a lot of splash damage onto your backline. And I found my Jhin will just die before he even gets to overtime if he does not have a little bit of healing on him, especially if there's things like Jarvan jumping on him and damaging him a little bit, or rogues jumping on him. Jhin can just like literally heal from 0 to full with one Deadeye, with Deadeye proc in his ultimate. So yeah, definitely need that. But we are going to prioritize tank items, because Jhin just needs that 1 sword and 1 glove, and he's good to go. And then you just figure out what healing item to get. Hodge is going to be your best bet, because that's going to be the highest damage for Jhin. But you can go Gunblade or BT is fine. BT is the worst, but Gunblade, Hodge is the best, then Gunblade, then BT. But don't think about it too much. Just if you have the healing item, then build it. You're good to go. Now, why IE on Jhin versus Deathblade or something like that? Deathblade is totally fine. So if you get Deathblade offered, double sword, just build the Deathblade. That's fine. If you want to save it for building IE Gunblade, that's fine too. But remember, we have to go for our tank items on carousel. So if you get to drop double sword, just go ahead and build it if you want. The reason why we do IE is because Jin's base damage is so high. It is so high on his ult. Just read it when you get in the game. It'll say like 1500. So if you can crit off that, then it's insane, right? So that's why we go for the Infinity Edge, as well as when we get our Deadeye procs on the back line. If you have four Deadeye, which is one of the in-game variations, sometimes Jhin will just literally one-shot the backliner with Deadeye procs early on in the fight. Doesn't even need Ascension. So that is pretty nice. Okay, so this is what our level 4 board is going to look like. Or level 5 board is going to look like. So the way you want to roll for this comp is on 3-1, you want to stay level 4 as much as possible. So you will not push levels before you hit your Jhin. So you want to roll on 3-1 to have a full board of 2 stars minus the Urgot. You can just run a 2-star Auction or a 2-star Ashe. It's really not important the 2-star them. You just want Jhin 2-starred and your entire front line 2-starred. If you are really close to Jhin 3 or Irelia 3, you can send it 0 right there if you want to, and just guarantee streak on stage 3 pretty much. This is kind of how you used to play the Pogmon comp if you played it in the past. So only send it 0 on 3-1 if you're guaranteed to hit Jhin and Aurelia. Okay, but if not, just stabilize on 2 stars. You're actually pretty strong on stage 3. 2-star Ionias, 2-star Warwick, and 2-star Jhin is a pretty strong stage 3 board. And again, even if we lose a lot of health on stage 3, even if we continue to lose a little bit, you don't have to streak. It's transfusion losses, baby. As long as we hit our comp on 4-1 and we're strong on stage 4, which we probably will because we have that transfusion value, we have our 3 stars, then we're Gucci. We're probably going to get a good placement in that game. So yeah, so this is what it looks like. Run any Deadeye other than Urgot before you hit Urgot, but Urgot is going to be your best bet. He is a tank Deadeye, and we just need tanks on our comp. So once we get to 4-1 and we roll for our 3 stars, assuming we didn't hit on 3-1, and we roll for our 3 stars, 3-star Jhin, 3-star Aurelia, set is very important, but if you don't hit set and it doesn't look like you're going to hit set, don't just sit on 6 and continue rolling. If it doesn't look like it's going to happen, then just move over. Now, before I move over and I talk about what I mean by move over, push levels and make your in-game comp, right? If it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Warwick 3 is not important at all, but if you have an angle to hit it, go ahead and hit it. Like if you're really close to set, go ahead and buy the Warwicks when you're rolling. Do not try to play Ashe 3 or anything like that. Again, we're just going to try to play Urgot, and we can add Ashe to our comp if we like. But yeah, the 3 stars that are important are these 3: Jhin, Irelia, Set. But again, if we are rolling for set, also roll for Warwick, because if we hit Warwick, that's nice. It's not required. Warwick is really just not that tanky without items in this comp. And then, but if we are not close to set, just push levels. Let's talk about some of these items real quick. I think tank items are best placed on Aurelia. She's the most consistent tank to hit, and she is tanky, dude. She is so tanky, especially on stage 3, stage 4. And these are some of the best items I found for her. I really like Titans, Warmogs. But again, don't think about it too hard. Just build tank items. And then I'll put my Sunfire on the unit that I'm not main tanking. You want your main tank to have actual tank items. Sunfire is not really a tank item. So your main tank, giga tank items, and then put Sunfire on the one that you are not carrying as your tank. But I really like Titans because her AP scaling scales her shield and also gives her quite a bit of damage as well. You can add, like, she can one-shot in overtime. It's pretty nuts. If you get a Deadeye emblem, just put it on whoever. Deadeye emblems are great in this build, but you put them on whoever, because if you get a Deadeye emblem, we are going to look for 4 Deadeye here, and we're good to go. So let's talk about some of your in-game comps. Most of the time, you're going to end on a level 7 comp, and this is going to be the most common in-game comp that you'll end on. Is 4 Deadeye and then our just original board. So you just add Aphelios, add Auction. If you don't hit Aphelios, just play Ashe. It's all good. And Auction's almost always going to be better than Ashe. His base damage is just way higher. If you want to play Ashe for the utility, that's fine. I just found it's not really... It doesn't really matter. You know, if you're versus a Garen comp, then yeah, play Ashe. It's going to be great. But I just found that Auction is just much better at one-shotting backline. And like sometimes he'll just like one-shot their carry. Like it's really fun. But cool. This is what our potential in-game. This is going to be your most common in-game. This is assuming you have no emblems and you hit your 3 stars and then you push the level 7 and we just roll 0 until we hit our Deadeyes and we're good to go. Look for an Urgot 2 and we're good to go. This is going to be the most common in-game. And then just put over your leftover 80 items on whoever you 2-star. So it's probably going to be Auction. 2-star Auction is a lot stronger than 1-star Aphelios I found in this build. I've tested that quite a bit. And if you have like items like BT or Titan, leftover Titans, they go on Urgot for sure, and you're good to go. Here's another potential in-game board. Now, this is assuming this is like a situation where you don't hit Aurelia 3. Like, sometimes you'll roll on 3-1 and just you hit 9 gens super fast. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to continue rolling for Aurelia and Set, and you just start pushing levels. So if you get into that situation where you hit the gen, just move on, son. Or maybe an alternative situation where you hit the Aurelia and maybe can do a different build, but that's not what we're gonna talk about here. And you just like move 80 items over to Aphelios and just push levels. That's fine too. And you just play Gen for Ionia. So in this board, this is where we hit Gen 3 really early. This has happened to me a few times, and we're just going to push levels, and this is our level 8 board. So this is assuming we're able to get to level 8. We will still run the 4 Deadeye, but now we have a really good tank line. Because now we have our big guys, our big bastions over here, and we have Targon in. And once you have Targon in, that actually makes your tank line so much more tanky because of the shield bonus you get on both of these guys and the shield bonus that Urgot gets. And so essentially your tank items would just move over to, if you 3-star Set, they'd be on Set. If not, they would go on to Shin, a 2-star, or a Tarek 2-star. But Shin is going to be your best bet, assuming you 2-star him. But this is a potential in-game board as well. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for the build. And remember, this is not a super meta strategy. This is off meta. It's a fun build. That's why I'm making the guide. At some point in this set, this comp will be meta for sure. I've had some middling success with this. I'd say my average placement with this comp is probably 4th or 3rd. I was slow climbing with this comp, and you almost never go 8th unless you giga low roll, or you just make a lot of mistakes whenever you're playing the comp. Anyways, this is it. Give it a try. It's a fun comp, and I love you guys all. I love all of you. I love all you guys, and I love TFT. I'll see ya on the next one.